Well, investors may be expecting Trump back in the White House, but some of his allies think he needs to focus on the issues in order to get there. GOP donor Hal Lambert joins us now. Hal, first of all, money. It is a big part of what you do in the political process. And of course, you switch from DeSantis to Trump. I'm just wondering, if Trump does well tonight, does he begin to pull in these hundreds of millions of dollars that Kamala Harris has since her convention?
Well, you have to be very rich these days to be a Democrat. So we'll see what happens there. But I mean, he's got a lot of money. He's going to continue to get more money. I think you're starting to see him break away in these polling numbers. The New York Times poll was pretty telling. 63% of Americans want change. And Kamala Harris is going to try to position herself tonight as the change candidate, even though she's the incumbent. And so she's going to try to position herself as all these policies that she's going to bring forward. She's been there 3.5 years. It hasn't happened. And she's going to try to attack Trump personally. And I think that's going to be a big difference tonight. Trump is going to stick to the policies, I predict. And there's a lot to work with there on Kamala Harris. I mean, there's plenty to go after, as you were just talking about, her flip-flops on so many issues right here at the last minute, trying to pretend that she's not the radical that she is. But at the end of the day, this is going to come down to the fact that we have massive amounts of inflation. Even though it's come down, the cumulative inflation has been terrible for the average American. The average American is poorer than they were 3.5 years ago by a long shot. I mean, this is the $20 hamburger administration, and people aren't going to forget that. And that's what they can't run from. They can change things on fracking and esoteric policy positions, but the fact that people are poorer than they were 3.5 years ago is something they can't overcome between now and November.
Well, there are two big differences between Trump, more than that, but two big differences between Trump and Harris. One is that Trump spent his life in business, so he understands these business concepts. And Harris has spent her life in the public sector, so some of her explanations of economic policy have been less than satisfying. Let me just put it that way, on price controls and things like that. But the other big difference are these flip-flops, and he has a record. He has a policy record. She doesn't. She's trying to separate herself from Biden's presidency. That and alone is a challenge. But then in order to come out as a centrist, she has to convince voters that what she said in the past, that there was no question I'm going to ban fracking. She wants to do exactly the opposite now. And without a background as a administrator, it's hard to make a promise when it's one that you've broken.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how hard they push back on her on ABC tonight on those flip-flops, because, as you said, she's never worked in the private sector. In fact, most of the administration and the Biden administration have never worked in the private sector ever. They're all bureaucrats. And so, she came out, her initial plan, remember, that she's backed away from, was price controls. They were going to come out and control the price of, bananas in the grocery store. I mean, this stuff is just not serious policy. And it really, I think, is going to catch up with her, because she doesn't understand the underlying economic policies that she's trying to actually present now. She doesn't understand it. All she has are talking points from the left, and that's what she's run on her entire career. And now she's trying to move away from those same things that she's said historically. And I think the American people are going to see through it.
Very quickly, I want to talk markets, because you're a market guy, and the market is now down another 300 points. If the markets and the economy in general continue to go downhill over these next couple of weeks, how is that going to affect her run for the presidency?
Well, I think it'll hurt. I mean, if the markets continue to slide here, that's going to be a problem for her.
You think they will?
The Fed is going to probably cut rates, as we all know. But historically, when the Fed starts cutting rates, that doesn't make the market go up immediately. Usually they're cutting rates because there's been a big slowdown in hiring and jobs and that kind of thing. So, between now and the election, and by the way, early voting starts in about a month. So we're going to have a lot of states voting here in 1 month. And I think tonight is going to be important. Trump's done, this will be his 7th presidential debate. It'll be her first. I think he has an advantage there.
All right. Hal Lambert. Terrific to see you, Hal. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.